Hello there, Eagles fans. Welcome back to Philly Eagles Therapy. I'm Basil,
And I'm Baz.
and we are recording Thursday, February 12th, 2026. Dad, it's been a little bit. Took a little bit of a hiatus. It's funny how much a year changes. Last year we won the Super Bowl. I was buying these shirts. I was all excited, and this year I was like, I don't want to record and talk about I don't want to talk about football right now. It's just
Yeah.
it comes at you fast, man.
Yeah. Did we miss anything? What's happened? Has anything happened?
Right? Yeah. No, football was over 3 weeks ago, so I don't. There's still some games they said that we're on, but yeah, a few things have happened. There's been a lot of movement within the Eagles. Let's cut the pleasantries. Let's get into it. So the big news, of course, and it's been out for weeks, so we're really behind on it. But we got to mention Kevin Patullo out. Looks like he's actually got a job over as a Miami Dolphin. I
Good.
agree.
Go.
Yep.
Go.
So he is out as the offensive coordinator. We bring in Sean Mannion, who was the offensive coordinator for the Green Bay Packers.
Quarterback's coach.
Quarterbacks coach. I apologize.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's okay. That's okay.
pull it up. There we go. Former quarterback, played for a couple different teams throughout his career. Rams, Vikings, Seahawks. He played with the Rams as Nick Foles' backup when he was a rookie in his first year, and then he was the offensive assistant. It was what I was thinking of, and then the quarterbacks coach for the
Right.
Packers the last few years, and now coming on with us to be the offensive coordinator
Right.
and play caller. Brought some of his own staff with him, some other names along the board that we can mention in the future. But give me your initial thoughts and how do you feel about this hire?
Well, I like the fact that he's young. I like the fact that he comes from a good coaching tree. I think that's going to be helpful. We could say what we want about what happened and everything, but we know we needed a change. We needed a big change, and it looks like Sirianni's not going to have any pieces of it. So in a way, that's probably good. I mean, it's in the past we've won, we've done well, but it needed to be a big change, and this is more than a change. This is an overhaul. This is an
Yeah.
overhaul, setting back to zero. So I like it. I'm glad he's. I like the fact that he's a young guy. I really didn't like some of the other coaches they talked about, even though they were the sexy names. You know what I mean? I'm glad they went out and got somebody who's kind of a quiet, not a big name. I like that.
Yeah. No, I kind of agree with you there. I know it wasn't like one of the big swing hires. Obviously, the Mike McDaniel, the who am I thinking of? Who else was the big one?
Dable, Coach Dable from
Thank you. Yeah,
the
yeah, Dable.
Giants. Yeah,
Those were some of the really big names that we weren't too sure. It seemed like they didn't really want to come here, or
good.
maybe we didn't really want them, but
Yeah,
they end up going to one to the. God, where did Mike McDaniel's go? I'm already lost on it. Mike McDaniel went to the.
he's a head coach.
No,
No,
no, no. He became the
no.
offensive
Yeah,
coordinator
you're
of
right.
someone. Big quarterback. Where'd he go? Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Oh, the Chargers. That's right. That was a
That's
big.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, went to the Chargers, so he'll be the he'll be the offensive coordinator for Herbert over there. And then Dable went to the Titans to be with Robert Saleh and the new rookie or second year quarterback Cam Ward.
I didn't really want Dable. I saw him as a head
Either.
coach. If you can't do anything as a head coach and then you're going to become the offense coordinator, I know he's worked with Hertz 10 years ago, whatever. I'm glad they did what they did. So I'm,
Sorry, let
I'm
me get
very
the light
happy with
turned on
that.
in here. The
Yep,
cloud
that's
just
fine.
came by and took away all my natural light up in here.
I saw that you were fading to
I
black.
was
I
like,
didn't know what
holy,
was happening.
yeah, it was like the Eagles season. It was fading to darkness.
I think you were signing out. Fade to
I'm
black. Just
done.
both of us. Just
I'm done.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the hire. It'll be interesting. We got a lot to see. A lot of unknowns with him. Young dude, like we mentioned, he's never done the play calling before,
Yep.
so that's a little scary. That was what I was a little
Well,
scared about that
neither
stuff.
did
But
Patullo, but then they brought in the Tampa Bay guy. So
correct. Yep. Former
yeah,
offensive coordinator over there was that Grizzard.
Grizzard. Yeah. So I mean, now you got a two-headed tandem. Hopefully they share duties. They get to share minds, and he's another young guy too. So it's the NFL, man. It changes. You can't just oh, this guy's been a coach for 15 years. Yeah, we've seen what that does. It gets you got to move on. You got to keep moving it. If you roll it back and it doesn't work, you got to change things. And this is a big change. And of course, being a psycho Eagles fan, I'm game for whatever they do. Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, Grizzard will be the passing game coordinator underneath Sean Mannion, and he was the offensive coordinator last year with the Buccaneers, the passing game coordinator for them the year before that. He's been around a little bit too. Miami Dolphins spent some time with Tampa but most of his career with the Miami Dolphins has some quality control stuff on the offensive side, wide receivers, things like that. But last few years, he's been in the coordinator position of pass game and offensive. So that's good as well. Good to have that name in the mix. Like you said, it's good to have different heads that can do different things in that department. We didn't have that this year. We had the one guy as Patullo, and then there was no backup. There was no he struggles. We have no fix.
Well, you had Stout as the run game coordinator, whatever you want to call that. And I'm sure, after a while, things were not going well, and there's probably some things going on. And then you've got probably Sirianni started meddling in. And then, of course, we know came out last week that, they kind of changed, who was running the offense and the run game coordinator. And, who knows?
That's the next big thing to mention.
I know.
Coach Stoutland out of the Eagles after 13 seasons with us, been with us since the Chip Kelly days. So he's been through a couple different coaches and coordinators and staff members, all that type of stuff, offensive linemen, everything like that.
Yep.
And it's funny. You would never expect to see a position coach like that, especially offensive line, to be such a pain to the city to leave. He leaves and it's just like the whole fan base is like rocked to its core.
Agreed.
Brutal. It's terrible.
Yep. And it's funny because, some of the things we'd heard about the offensive running in the beginning of the half, but then the second half of the season, the run game got better. And then we find out that Stout was kind of pushed out and probably didn't handle it as well as they should have. But,
nope.
You and I have argued about it. I think, the fact that the run game didn't work early, it ran better at the end of the season when they took it away from him. So maybe that's something to do with it. But we know what the problem was, right? The problem was the offensive line and the injuries, and the guys just couldn't stay healthy. And I really fully believe that's what was the downfall of this team. So, losing Stout, it's going to be tough, especially if you get some new young guys this year. But we got a new offensive line coach, so let's see what he's got.
Yep.
He might be the next great thing. So you never know.
Yeah, maybe a new offensive line coach, Chris Kuper, who's been with the Vikings the last few years. He was the offensive line coach since 2022 with them. Not a lot of great numbers have come out on that offensive line. So, who knows? You can never blame the offensive line coach for everything, just like you can't praise him for everything. I mean, we talk about Stoutland, and he works wonders, and you love him for that, but you also can't really praise him for everything because Lane Johnson was probably going to be a great player no matter what. Things like that. You can praise them for development, but you can't always take away if they had a bad group of offensive linemen,
And not pointing fingers, but some of the guys that we brought in under Stout, they didn't develop. I mean, we got Andre Dillard. I mean, he had years with him, right? I'm just saying, it's not necessarily the coach. It's also the players that you get the mold. Yeah. Look at Mailata. Mailata wasn't even an offensive player. He wasn't even a lineman. He was a
player.
He's a football player. So I mean,
he was a rugby player.
Rugby player, right? So I mean, but he
never played football.
He molded him, but also he's 6'8", 390 pounds, and can move. So I mean, when you got the talent and you're able to mold it, that's good. So some of these guys, you could draft the number 1 pick, they don't make it. Number 7 plays for 10 years. So
it's true.
I mean, I'm hoping that Cooper's got what we need him to have, and it gets together. But I think some changes had to be made, and they were made.
Yeah. The next two things I wanted to talk about. So I already mentioned Lane Johnson. Let's talk about that. And Landon. There were some reports coming out that it's possible Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson would be retiring. Since then, some other reports. I think Shady made some mention about Lane Johnson. He's not retiring, stuff like that, and there's some videos released of him still working out and everything. So the Lane Johnson one feels like it's kind of been put to rest. The Landon one is a scary one, though, man. I mean, this is Lane. You expected to be leaving pretty soon, but Landon, man. I mean, when the way he was playing, not this last year, but the previous year and the year before that, and really the year before that,
right?
You're thinking this guy is our next perennial, Pro Bowl All-Pro left guard who can lead this team for the next 10 years.
Exactly.
And now it's like, oh my God, we might have to replace him now.
Yeah, I mean that's a bad thing. But injuries. He's a big guy. He's got 330 pounds. His knees. He's had 2 ACLs. He's had lower back. I mean, was the tush push part of it? I know we talked about too. Maybe not. Maybe other teams weren't getting injured. It was our own guys getting injured. So maybe that's a reason for us to quit running dang play, but it served us well when it did, and so did Landon Dickerson. So in a way, you go, okay, well, we got our rings, and hopefully he's not done, but maybe I don't know, maybe a good off season is going to fix him. Same with Lane. I thought for sure he was going to be gone. I just thought you get that injury, but I saw him the other day lifting 455 pounds five times like it was picking up a gallon of milk. So, what can I say? I mean, we don't know either way, but we do know this much. This year's draft, we need to address the offensive line. We know
more than
that.
ever before.
And defensive ends, too. That's what we need to do.
And this next player kind of works in conjunction with that. We kind of put this conversation together. So A.J. Brown, obviously we've been talking about him since the playoff game, and how he had that horrible playoff game. It was just one of the worst games of the season, one of the worst games in playoff wide receiver history probably. And he was awful, and it just felt like he kind of quit on the team. I don't want to call out that character, but it felt like that in a sort of way. And man, there's reports coming out. He was on the podcast with Micah, and Mike asked him about Philly, and he said, Philadelphia's home. But then there's reports that saying he wanted to be traded after the season. They were saying during the season he requested a trade multiple times.
Right.
And I'm working these two in conjunction because I think if Lane Johnson does retire, you trade A.J. Brown immediately because you got to go, okay, we need whatever picks we can get, we got to use it to address the offensive line.
Right.
If you lose Lane, you got to lose A.J. right away. I know it sucks because you're losing basically your two of your three best offensive players, but you have to do something. You have to use that pick that you would get for A.J. to replace Lane in some way.
Yeah, and I know A.J. is great, but you know how I feel. It's kind of like in the old days when we had Carson Wentz and Ertz. He would throw to Ertz 15 times a game, and I'm like, you got to start shredding the ball around. And it just seems to me, maybe I'm wrong, is that when A.J.'s in the game, Hurts goes, I got to throw this guy the ball 10 times or he's going to talk about me in the media. And it just becomes a zoo, and you can't have that. You need selfless players like Devontae Smith. That's who you need to have on your team. That's how you build a winning team.
Yeah.
Saquon, a guy that says mid-Super Bowl and you're up 24, hey, keep it down. We got to get this game. Play within yourselves. Don't get crazy. This game's not over yet. Like, that's what you need, team players. And every prima donna wide receiver that we've ever seen through this league in the last 25 years, they punch holes in teams. There's only a few that haven't, like Evans down in Tampa Bay. Guy's one of the best receivers ever, and he's never pulled this prima donna crap. Made jokes on the podcast, the double standard meeting. Like, what's he saying? Like, no, man, we're about the team. AJ came in, we needed him, he did great. This year, you know what? We could have used. There was probably 15 other wide receivers we could have used in replace of him and been just fine. So, I mean, the fact that he's getting $28 million a year and at cap money and all that stuff. But you're right. If Lane retires or Dickerson retires,
I would agree.
We need to trade him to a team that's got a top 15 pick. Maybe get a number one. Maybe get a number. Look at a team
I think the only pick you're getting for A.J. Brown is the number 31 from the Patriots, it's funny because people have been saying, oh, well, you can't keep, they've been saying about the Patriots, like, oh, well, if they get A.J., they have to give up Diggs. And I'm like, no. Stephon Diggs is not coming to the Eagles. Howie Roseman is not.
No.
He's not bringing Stephon Diggs to the team.
So it would be a pick. It's a pick trade. It's not a player trade. We don't want players. We're good.
The only way you're getting it is it's got to be the 31st pick from the Patriots or wherever this pick is, the 28th, 29th, maybe 20, probably the 28th.
Who's that?
Pick. The Bills.
Well, they would be probably lower 20s, right? They made the playoffs. They got far, but it could be 26, 27. You're right. No, but you're right.
I'll pull up a mock draft real quick. But yeah, I just think that's the only way you're trading him is if you're getting AJ's not good enough or young enough anymore to get a top 20 pick. Like he's just not, unfortunately.
It needs to be a team that needs a player now, right? Like the Bills, like the Patriots.
Correct. It can't be a team that's building. Let me pull it up right here. Here we go. The Bills, 26th. So hey, that's not too bad either.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a few different options really. You could see it being the Patriots at 31, the Texans maybe at 28, the Niners at 27 and the Bills at 26. Any one of those teams could probably use a wide receiver like A.J. Brown.
Right.
I could see you getting a 26th, 27th pick for him.
Yeah,
and maybe
you're right.
a fifth as well or something like that.
Because there's a lot of teams that are early that don't need wide receivers.
Yeah, it's just,
Detroit, teams that think they're close. That's what you got to get. You got to get that.
correct.
They're going to take a gamble on a player. So, yeah, you're correct.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you can walk away with the 31st pick from A.J. Brown and a 6th-round pick swap or something like that, it always happens, that to me is worth it. And you use that 31st pick to draft either Lane's replacement or Landon's replacement, and that 23rd pick vice versa. It could be either way. The 23rd pick could be replacing Lane. The 31st pick could be getting a new defensive end, something like that. It all depends on what the situation happens. But
yeah, but I don't think if you need to replace a guard, say Lane does come back, and hopefully one of the guys in the house that we already have has made enough progress. Lampkin, I don't know the players' names. There's a couple of guys we've drafted in the last couple of years, but and that again goes back to Stout, where you go, well, if he was the genius that he is, hopefully he's got a couple guys in the back. And we were running out Brett Toth instead of one of these younger guys that we've drafted, because we draft linemen every single year. I mean, if that 5th, 6th round, So
this year we're also looking at, we got a 1st rounder and a 2nd rounder, and then 3 3rds and 2 4ths. So I mean, we got Landon was a 2nd rounder, Cam was a 2nd rounder. You can draft these guys, and 2nd rounders. You can still get great offensive linemen.
Yeah.
That's not was Cam a 3rd rounder?
I'm not sure. Let's look.
I might be messing that up. It's okay. But that's all I have on the Eagles news reports. Do you have anything else you wanted to mention about Eagles before we get into some other stuff?
No, I'm trying to find where he was drafted, but I don't see it.
Cam Jurgens. Let me see. Cam Jurgens was 2nd round, 51st overall, and Landon was 2nd round, 37th overall. So you can still get fantastic players in the 2nd rounder. I mean, it's not. Tyler Steen was a 3rd rounder, 65th overall. But then you also hope, like you kind of mentioned, we got the Cameron Williams and the Miles Hintons, those guys that we drafted who played finally towards the end of the season. Not Miles Hinton, but Cam Williams got to play, and you hope to yourself maybe Lane's tutelage and Stoutland's coaching got that guy ready. Maybe he can replace Lane.
Maybe if he's not quite ready, maybe he will be ready. I mean, that's
correct.
That's the hope that you have, because that's the thing. We talk about it in our pre-draft shows that we do every year before the draft. We always talk about what's the first thing we're going to what are we going to get? Well, we're going to get an offensive lineman in the first 2 or 3 picks every single year. You need to do that. The trenches is where you win the games. Defensive tackles, defensive ends, and offensive linemen. I mean, that's where it goes. So, and you hope you pick a diamond in the rough and he works out, but. We haven't had that in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
we were running Brett Toth out last year.
I mean, they were really trying. We've heard the reports that they were really trying to draft an offensive lineman these last few years in the draft in the early picks. It just hasn't worked out. And I mean, 2 years ago we saw that with you and I did our pre-draft process, and who are we going to take? We didn't even mention Quinyon Mitchell as a possibility. He's too good to be where we are. We're at 22nd.
Right.
Too good. And then he's there, and we draft him. And then same thing in the 2nd round. Kuper DeJean's still there. We trade up and draft him. And then there's last year, do we get Jahad Campbell's still there? We got to get, it's tough, because I think they were definitely planning, we need to draft offensive linemen, until they were like, wait, Quinyon Mitchell's on the board. We got to take him right now. So it's tough with the draft. You never know how it's going to flow.
That's right. It's true. I mean, and that's why you draft for need, and then you draft for best player available. I think that's kind of how you work it. You got to know what you need. Last year's draft, pretty good draft, right? I mean, we got Drew Makuba. He was good until he got injured, and hopefully he comes back next year and is good. But I think, every year your focus has to change. Last year we got a linebacker. We never had a good linebacker. Now we got 3 good linebackers. So we'll see what happens with Nakobe. Yep. Maybe Jahad was a Rookie of the Year prospect for the first 10 games, He was making some plays. I mean, but then Nakobe came back and played phenomenally.
Unbelievable.
Probably the best defensive player we had last year. I mean, that's how good he got, man.
I would agree with you. I would.
I mean, he was unbelievable. So can we keep him? I don't know. He wants to stay, but this is where you get into that. But the hard part is right now. It's post early season. You can't do nothing till almost June. You're going to draft, and then we'll see what happens after the draft. So until
Yeah,
then, there's really not going to be much happen. It's going to be the quiet days. That's what happens.
I know it's how it always works. And this is that time of year. I mean, we mention it in the offseason all the time. Right now, truthfully, is the like sports like death time
Oh
where it's
yeah,
just football's over, baseball hasn't started, soccer hasn't started, spring football hasn't started, if you even care about that, which I don't.
can't.
And then you're in the regular seasons of basketball and hockey. So, I mean, you have that, but
Yeah,
it's basketball and hockey. And I'm not
yeah.
bashing, but they're not
No,
football. You know what I
no,
mean? Like,
no.
just,
I
and it's the
mean,
regular season. I love basketball in the postseason, but regular season, I'm not really, you know,
yeah.
I keep up with the Sixers and I'll watch the highlights, but until the playoffs happen, I'm not like dialed into basketball at all. You know, it's
Yeah,
kind of
and
one of
and
those.
you always know my story. I'm a football guy, 100%.
I
When
know.
that's over, basketball, baseball, hockey, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm a Philly guy, but I don't really care about those sports at all. I mean, I
Yep.
might say, oh, they're leading a division. I might know that, but that's
Yeah.
as far as it goes. If they're even in the playoffs, it's sorry, but it's just not my thing.
Yep.
I'm kind of a soccer guy, and I'm even kind of not as much as I was the last couple years.
Yeah.
I'm not glued as much as it is, but and it's so for me,
Oh,
it's a sports letdown. I mean, I have nothing.
yeah. All right. Well, until you get spring football, there you go. No.
I can't.
When's
I
the Premier
tried.
League? When's the Premier League start?
Well, no, it's in full swing. It's
Yeah,
almost done. I mean, they start a
I
couple
know.
weeks before the NFL. They'll go for, I think
Yeah.
they're in week 28. They've got another 5, 6, maybe 7 weeks left. They don't have playoffs in soccer. The
Yeah,
winner
I
is
know.
the guy that wins the most
I
points. That's
know.
it.
It's
They're- You
brutal.
know,
It's brutal.
so it is, and I haven't really been into it this year. So I mean, the switchbacks start up in another couple weeks, but that's our get out of the house kind of thing.
Oh,
I mean, as far as
the
the
Olympic
games go,
the
the
Olympics are on right
Olympics,
now.
yeah,
Yeah.
Winter
I
Olympics.
it's yeah, I'm not a Winter Olympics guy. I will say people may laugh at this. I really get into curling in the Olympics. I really do. It's a fun. I really enjoy watching curling.
I
Maybe it's like my version of golf, where people who watch people who watch golf, and I'm just like, what are we watching golf for? Maybe that's my curling because I watch curling and I'm like, oh, it's a great shot. Like, oh, that was perfect. I'm watching the girls team earlier today when they were playing against Sweden. It was awesome. It was really good. Good
So
match.
how much does a stone weigh?
44 pounds.
39 to 44,
Okay, got you in between there. Cool. Yep.
something like that. 19.1 kilograms.
All right, Dad, let's take this time to talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. We don't
Okay.
have to spend too much time on it. I do have an update for the rankings that I had created for the last 26 years of success in the 2000s, basically from 2000 on. There are some updates there, changing it around everything. But let's talk about the Super Bowl itself. So the Seahawks win 26 to no 29
29
13.
13.
29-13. Man, it's a bummer that it's that type of Super Bowl, and we got some good playoff games, thankfully, because great playoffs this year. But unfortunately, the Super Bowl really, kind of a letdown. I was expecting a little bit more scoring from each side, and 12-0 at halftime, kind of a pretty big bummer. I felt like it's even like I know I'm the Eagles fan, biased about last year when we won 40-6. People could say, oh, it was boring. They were 24-0 at halftime. Well, but at least there was scoring and there was
Yeah.
stuff happening. This game, it was 12-0. It was just like, oh my God, the kicker's the freaking MVP.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, Vento kept telling me that the kicker's going to get the MVP. I'm like, no, you can't give it to a kicker. He's
Yeah.
like, dude, he's the only one scoring. But the only good thing about that Super Bowl was that they didn't score touchdowns. It should have been 24 to nothing at halftime, and that
Yeah.
that game was over. It was over. I mean, you and I were cooking. We weren't even watching the
It
game.
was tough. It was a
I
tough
mean,
watch.
I was upstairs. I was downstairs. I'm like, what's the score now? Yeah, it's a shame. And congratulations to the Seahawks. Great
Yeah.
season. They win their second Super
I mean,
Bowl, which is awesome. But you
congrats to
know,
Sam Darnold more than anything. I mean,
definitely, yeah, definitely,
what a story. I mean,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
unfortunate because it's getting overshadowed by a not so great Super Bowl.
yeah,
What a story, dude. I
yeah.
mean,
Oh
that's
yeah,
incredible. To
yeah,
go, not a first overall pick, third overall pick.
Yeah.
In that draft class too, with the Josh Allen and the Lamar Jackson and Baker Mayfield, and it's just kind of like, oh, he's, there was Josh Rosen who was, we don't talk about it. Sam Darnold, though, he doesn't even, he gets pushed out of the Jets, he gets pushed out of the Carolina, then he's in the San Francisco,
back up,
and then he goes to the Vikings, and then he takes off, and they let him go. Well, we can win without you, and to win a Super Bowl, Pro Bowl back-to-back year, I believe, and now a Super Bowl. And man, what a story! What a
well,
story.
the most wins ever by a quarterback in 2 seasons.
Incredible.
Because 14-3 2 years in a row, and then the playoff wins.
Crazy.
Didn't really get the playoff wins last year, but this year.
None.
That was pathetic.
Man,
yeah.
it's just he got revenge on it because he lost to the Rams in the playoffs last year, and then he beat them twice this year in crazy games, and man, it's just incredible story.
Yeah. I mean, if you're into the story side of it, and I am too. I mean, you can't help it. You got to feel good for the guy. I mean, here's a guy that's been kicked down, kind of, made fun of, memes, the whole bit,
Definitely.
And here he is, Super Bowl champ. Seeing ghosts, the Super Bowl champ. The biggest problem with Seattle's defense was just too dang good. And there it is again, guys. When it gets to Super Bowl time, the defense, the top defense, I don't know if they were number one. If they were
up there.
Always vote for the defensive side because they just destroyed the Patriots. They had nothing. The biggest guy on the team was Mac Hollins, who we're familiar with. We had him for a couple years of his 4 catches a season.
I can't.
I know.
So, the Seahawks, they were the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL this year.
Okay.
So number 5 in yards, 10th in passing, 3rd in rushing. So they were top 10 everything. Yeah. But they were the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. Yeah,
so I mean that's who you vote. That's who you bet on. That's right.
I mean, it shows
every year.
You can go back to the Seahawks in 2013, the Broncos in 2015, Eagles in 2017. But they scored. They threw for like 570 yards on us. So but
got the ring, baby. And then last year we had the best defense in the league.
Exactly. I mean, it really does. It just shows you that's how you win a Super Bowl. You have to have the defense, and you have to have the pressure. And when you pressure Mahomes 6 times, he starts throwing pick sixes to white cornerbacks. It's crazy.
Yeah, May got sacked 7 times, which tied a record, but he could have been sacked 12 times.
I agree.
He was getting beat up. He threw a pick 6, which really they call a fumble. But if you catch a fumble in the air, is it really a pick? I don't know. It's weird.
It is weird. I know.
If you're a quarterback and your arm's going and you hit the ball up in the air, but anyway, good for him. Good Super Bowl.
All right, so updates. So this was last year. I kind of talked about this. It was before this season. It was after the Eagles Super Bowl, basically. I made a list of the 10 most successful teams. Now it's not really the 10 overall. It's 5 in the AFC, 5 in the NFC. So maybe there's some AFC teams that are better than the lower NFC teams. I just chose the top 5 from each ones with the most success since 2000. So the updates are on here. The Patriots, previously, they were number 1 in the AFC. They are still number 1 in the AFC. They achieve an extra conference championship appearance and an extra Super Bowl appearance, but no Super Bowl win. But it does keep them above the Chiefs by a large margin.
Right.
The Seahawks, huge jump. So the Seahawks were 4th in the NFC since 2000, but going into this season, Eagles number 1, Giants were 2, Tampa Bay 3, and the Seahawks were number 4. The Seahawks are now at number 2. They overtake the Giants and Tampa Bay because they have had 2 Super Bowl wins, 4 Super Bowl appearances, and 5 conference championship appearances. So this pushed them over the Giants and the Buccaneers. So that makes them the second most successful NFC team in this century.
2000s.
Yes, from 2000 on. That's all I'm kind of doing on it.
Right. Now I got you. And I know your criterion was, championship, NFC championship, Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowls, and probably wins, I'm guessing.
So Super Bowl wins is number 1. I didn't really do a point system, but I just kind of, Super Bowl wins makes you higher. And then after that, it's based on how many times did you go to the Super Bowl and how many times did you go to the conference championship game. So we have been to 4 Super Bowls. So we've won 2 Super Bowls, been to 4, and been to 8 conference championship games.
Gotcha.
We have 2 more conference championship games than the next team. Then the Packers, who are number 5. The Packers only have 1 Super Bowl, and they only have 1 Super Bowl appearance, so they're down the list.
So what
they're
would you
number
rather
5.
be? Would you rather be 1-0 in Super Bowls or 2-3 in Super Bowls, or 2-2 in Super Bowl, like being 4 and win one and win
In the
two and
last,
lose two?
yeah, I'd rather have
Yeah,
the 2-2. Yeah.
I mean, losing a Super Bowl sucks, but getting to a Super Bowl is pretty damn fun.
I mean, I would say if you put two Packers fans together who are 25 years old and they've been fans since they were 10.
Right. 15.
Yeah, since they were 10. Since, who would you put an Eagles fan and a Packers fan together? I would assume that the Packers fan would want to be the Eagles fan more than the Eagles fan the Packers fan.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Because the Eagles fan who has been, who's 25 years old, we can even go back further, but I'm not counting the before 2000s.
Right.
The Eagles fan has seen his team go to 8 conference championship games. Now,
Right.
he was a kid during some of those, so whatever. But he's seen his team win 2 Super Bowls. The Packers fan saw his team win 1 Super Bowl and only got to 1. So
Right.
I would assume I'd rather my team go to 4 Super Bowls and I win 2 of them than go to 1 and win 1. Definitely.
Right. And again, getting to the conference championship and winning it, it's not the same as the Super Bowl, but it's up there.
It is
for
up
a
there.
sports fan. That's
Absolutely.
You get 2 weeks of a lot of extra
do.
enjoyment of the season.
You get 2 weeks of we are the champions of this conference. That's
Right. Yeah.
indisputable. The Eagles
Right.
are the best team of the conference because they are in
Right.
the Super Bowl, And then the Super Bowl happens, and even if you lose, you lose and it sucks. But no one can take away the fact that my team went to a Super Bowl this year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Now, the only thing I'll say to that is you don't have a 2022 NFC Championship ring. You didn't go out and buy one.
They never sold it. Like, you can't buy it.
I've looked them up. You can find them, but there's no consistency.
Well,
There's
the
one
first
out
thing
there with a Kelsey name on it, one out there with a Hertz name, and one out there with a Wallace name. But
Yeah.
some of them are from China, and they're $200.
Because Kayvon Wallace posted a picture of when he got it. He posted a picture
okay.
when he got the NFC Championship ring. He posted a picture of it on his
Right.
Instagram or something. I don't
Yeah.
know. And so I know that there were probably a lot of websites that had their started doing
Right.
their Chinese factory make the thing.
Yes.
So yeah, there's some probably out there, but there's never been like an actual
Right.
official
Yes.
myrings.com or rings
Yeah.
offer, something
Because
like that.
I went looking yesterday just because.
Yeah.
And they were showing it, and it said on the side of the ring 31-7 Philly against San Francisco.
Cool.
And I went, oh, cool. And it had Kelsey's name on it.
I like
But
it.
I mean, you couldn't really find one for under $50-$60. And I don't know. Like you say, it doesn't seem, it's a little shady, is what I'm saying.
Is.
A little,
Super shady.
until you can get them on eBay, 100 of them, you know what I mean, for $25, I wouldn't consider getting one. But I mean, as part of the collection, it would be kind of cool to have. But again, I know you always said, why would you want the NFC? I thought we looked it up and they didn't even get one, but apparently
That's
they did.
the thing, because Wallace posted that picture, but we never saw any reports about other
Right.
players. There
A
was
little
no-
party, a meeting.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't post one.
Right. It's very odd.
He probably turned
Anyway.
one down. He probably was
I know-
like, no, we didn't win anything.
I know it's off topic, but I was just curious as to
I understand.
if you're into the rings and in the championships, it's kind of cool.
Yeah. All right, so here's the success. I'm just going to list it off one more time. So
Go ahead.
in the AFC, the most successful, so Patriots. number 1, Chiefs number 2, Pittsburgh Steelers number 3, Ravens number 4, and then Manning's Colts and Broncos tied for number 5.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
kind of funny. He won a Super Bowl with the Colts and the Broncos, and he went to 2 Super Bowl appearances with each of them.
Okay.
Now, the Colts had more conference championship appearances. So technically the Colts go above the Broncos.
Right. Well, what about the Ravens? They've never been to a Super Bowl. Well,
You know what?
you're wrong. I'm right. They've been to 2, 2001
They've won
and then 2013,
Yeah,
12? Yeah.
12.
Okay.
They won 2, yes.
You're right. That kind of threw me because I'm like, they just have not had success in the last 15 years.
So I'll have to double check that because the Broncos made the AFC Championship game this year.
Yes.
So maybe they have. Maybe
Right.
they have. I'll check that.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
they're tied with the Colts again. I can't remember. But
All right,
okay.
we'll table that for the next time.
Yeah. NFC, Eagles number 1, Seahawks number 2,
Seahawks.
Giants number 3, Buccaneers number 4, Packers number 5.
Interesting. Very good. Very good.
All
You're
right,
number
Dad.
1. We're number one.
That's right, man. That's right.
In the NFC, because
Hey, you get to say that. People can
yeah,
say what they want. Oh, the
yeah,
Eagles. In my lifetime, since 2000,
right,
I was born in '98, so whatever,
right,
do what
yeah.
you want to do with that.
Well, we found you, but yeah,
Most successful NFC team in the league for the last 26 years.
right,
Most successful
right.
NFC team.
Yeah, it's a good
Indisputable.
brag. It's a good
Indisputable.
brag. Yeah,
It's an indisputable fact.
yeah, yeah,
Completely indisputable. All right.
yeah. So how many? Well, we'll have to look at it. We'll look into it.
What do you say?
Very good. How many Super Bowls have the Packers been to? And you just said one in the last 20. Okay.
One.
Because they lost one
But they've been to,
96.
like I said, they've been to 6 conference championship games.
Right, yeah.
But they've
lost.
only been to one Super Bowl. So
Well, I've seen that video. I've seen that YouTube clip. So it's
yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
All right. You got anything else to say?
Not really. That was pretty good. I like that ranking thing. It's pretty cool to do that.
It's always,
now just a shout out to the people that have been bugging me about when's your next podcast coming out, Dads or Baz, and I'll let them know now that we've got one for tomorrow sometime.
Yeah, I'll have it released maybe today. We'll see. But
okay,
all right.
Very good.
Last thing I should talk about the Sixers real quick. I'll just mention some other sports. Sixers 30-24 right now. They lost 2 in a row, unfortunately. Both big blowouts. They are the 6th seed in the East, though. So just for me, a successful season for them would be just staying out of the play-in. So if they can stay at the 6th seed or above, I'm pretty happy there. Just got to stay out of the play-in.
Now play-in's what, 6 and below or
7th, 8th, 9th, 10th.
Okay, they play each other to get in. Okay,
6th seed, you're locked in. You don't have to play for your chances.
Okay, gotcha.
The Flyers 25, 20, and 11, not having a great season, and they're about they're quite a few spots out of the playoff rankings right now. So I don't know if we'll see anything changes from them. I think they're 9 points behind the people who are in the playoffs, the Boston Bruins. So probably not having a chance this year, but we'll see. Things can always change.
Right.
All right, man. That's everything I got.
All right, cool. Very good.
All right, let's say our goodbyes.
Excellent.
You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. If you like Philly Eagles Therapy, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts are, some of the changes that are coming up, and maybe your fears of the offseason that we're all kind of dreading going forward. But you can email us any questions at phillyeaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from all of us here at Philly Eagles Therapy, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
Fly, Eagles, fly.